California's Golden Coast is underwritten by the David and Lucille Packard Foundation, who also support the good works done by the following organization.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell, and here we are on this glorious day in the nice little community of Mendocino in Northern California, which is located right on the ocean. Now, Mendocino is one of those quaint little towns that's full of history and charm. Lots of little bed and breakfast and hotels, shops and stores. Artists live and work here. And this is one of those places people like to visit for a couple of days, just walk around and hang out. Now that's what we're going to be doing this morning, but Mendocino, as nice as it is not our final destination. We're going to be heading a few miles north of here to visit a place that everybody says we have to see. And if you're curious as to where we're going and what we're going to see, as always, you're invited to join us. We're going to spend the whole day right here on California's Golden Coast. Okay, we have arrived, and here to greet us is Rich Owings, who is the Executive Director of
Mendocino Coast Botanical Gardens.
All right, and Rich, you know they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so let's go right over here and show everybody where we are, because we have hit the jackpot today. Look at this. On this glorious afternoon, looking out at this amazing place. Lots of activity out here today. First off, tell us exactly where we are, what this Botanical Gardens is all about.
All right, you're in a very unique garden. There are very few gardens worldwide with direct ocean frontage, and we run all the way from Highway 1 to the Pacific Ocean.
So this goes all the way to the ocean?
Absolutely.
How many acres are we talking about?
47 acres.
And is this isn't a park, this isn't a state park, or?
It's a public garden.
So it's a non-profit organization.
That's right, we don't receive any government revenues. It's all admissions and the support of our members.
And we just happen to be here today when you're having this, obviously it isn't like this every Saturday, is it?
It isn't. It's always beautiful, but it's not like this every Saturday. This is our largest fundraiser of the year. It's Art in the Gardens. We have 50 artists here today, a dozen wineries, music, food. It's a great day to be here.
Oh, wow. Well, now this, as beautiful as this is, with all this going on, we're still going to be able to get down to the core of what the gardens are all about.
You better believe it. We're going to see the best spots in the gardens today.
All right, we're going to take our tour. Let's just take one more look at this before we start, because this is very exciting. We didn't even know about this place. We just happened to be up here on the North Coast, and it is, everybody told us we had to come.
Well, it's the gem of the coast. It's really a very special place.
Well, we're starting off the tour with something that's just a little unusual.
Absolutely. These are tuberous begonias hanging up here in the pine trees, and we actually have a few people each year who come into the nursery and say, can I buy some of the begonia trees? They're very popular with everyone.
Now, why are the begonias hanging out of this? This is a pine tree.
Right. Well, we typically have them in a display house here, but we need that for the artists today for the event. We need the space there, so we move them here, and it puts on a great display one day a year. This is the only day of the year you can see these up here.
Boy, this is absolutely beautiful up here, and let's go on record right now as saying when you come to the Botanical Gardens, you can buy begonias, but not begonia trees.
You can buy begonias and you can buy pines, but yeah, not begonia trees. You can put them together.
Okay, now we are formally entering into the garden.
That's right.
And of course, there are a lot of people here today, but let's just pretend like it's just the two of us here. Where would you be taking me first? What would you want to show me? Let me ask you about these, because these kind of catch my eye. What are these?
These are very popular. This is one of the restios from South Africa. This is actually Alegia. It looks a lot like our native horsetail, but look at the size of these. They're gorgeous.
Now, do these grow anywhere but here in California?
I think they will have a fairly wide distribution. I think they do like a fair amount of moisture, but they do fairly well over a wide range.
Now, what's in this section of the garden? Because this is just the tip of the iceberg right here, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Look at these beautiful plants.
These are all perennials here, and this garden's a little unusual. It is actually a mixture of traditional perennials like you might find in English perennial gardens, but we've also got the Mediterranean flora mixed in, so that's a little unusual.
Wow, look at all of these. Is this a good time of year to be here, or is there always something blooming in these gardens?
There's always something blooming every day of the year. You did happen to hit it at the peak of the perennial garden bloom, though.
Oh, look at all of this. Now, are these California flowers here?
Some are California natives. There are plants from all over the world mixed in, but we do have a lot of California natives here. About half the property is dedicated to natural areas.
And who comes here? People who are hardcore plant lovers, or people like us who just kind of want to walk and experience and get because there are lots of good vibes out here today.
Everyone comes here. People who just want a nice walk and some tranquility, but we get hardcore gardeners and just vacationers on the coast, but everybody loves it. These are great. I really love the fairy wands because when I first saw these, I thought it was a grass, and then I look at these flowers on it and it's like, whoa, that is really unusual.
Down. Look at this, Cameron. They're just, look at this. And they're called fairy wands.
Fairy wands.
Are they California?
I think these are South African.
So you've got a lot of South African things here.
Yes, we do. Well, a lot of Mediterranean flora, and that's one of the Mediterranean regions in the plant world.
Look at this.
It's beautiful.
I think we're going to be saying that a lot today, aren't we? All right, now this is kind of tucked away kind of quietly over here. It's not getting as much attention as some of the others, but look at what we've got over here.
This is a new bed. It's just been planted in the last year, but things grow so fast here on the coast. We have this great maritime climate, very mild growing conditions, very few frosts, and come back in a couple of years, it'll look like it's been here forever.
But now when people come here, now like I'm from LA, how well would these things do down in Southern California?
Many of them will. We actually have a nursery manager here and perennial garden manager, and they could tell you which ones. If you want to take home some plants today, they'll tell you exactly which ones you want to take back to LA with you.
So there's a little bit of something here for everybody, regardless of where we live in California.
Absolutely.
All right, now we're heading, this just all, look out here, this all just kind of weaves around. Where do we go next?
Well, let's talk about these roses here. These are heritage roses from Mendocino County. They were actually researched by a couple of sisters, volunteers. They went around to old homesteads and cemeteries. These are roses unique to Mendocino County.
All in here. Can we go in here?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, look. Oh boy, it smells good in here. Now you say somebody researched by going to old cemeteries?
They did. And these roses came over with early homesteaders. I mean, think about people making this tough journey across the country. They don't even have enough water for themselves, and they're giving little drinks to their rose plants to get them here. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And how many different kinds of roses do you have here?
I think we have about 50 different types just in this garden here.
From Mendocino County?
From Mendocino County.
We're entering the
heather garden.
The heather garden. Is this the heath in the heather garden?
There are heaths and heathers in here.
Now this, boy, I hope the camera picks this up, because this is this color right here, this combination of color, and of course these are all filled with happy bees.
There you go. They love it.
What is this? Is this called heath?
These are mostly heathers that are in bloom now. The heaths will come on in the wintertime. It's a great year-round display because you have the flower color and foliage color.
Wow, this is just beautiful. Do people up here use a lot of heath and heather?
It's very popular, a very popular garden plant right here on the coast.
Now look, we're beginning to get into some trees back here.
That's right. The trees are a windbreak between the main gardens and the ocean. There's a reason there aren't many gardens located right on the ocean. It's hard to grow things here.
Uh-huh. And does the garden go back into this area here?
It goes back into the pines and out to coastal prairie and then to the ocean.
So, I mean, but you've got things growing that you, I mean, there is a garden back in here.
You better believe it. There's plenty more to see.
All right. Now we're kind of getting into the forest, but you wanted to show us something right here on the edge of the forest.
Right, we've got some rhododendrons. Look at these here with this great candy cane striping on the flowers. They are absolutely wonderful. These are some of our tender species rhododendrons. You can only grow these in very, very mild climates, and many of them are wonderfully fragrant.
Now, you told me that this garden is known for its rhododendrons, right?
We're very famous for rhododendrons. We're past the peak bloom season now. It's usually mid-April to mid-May.
So people, this whole area would be full of rhododendrons.
Yes, and full of fragrance.
Well, here's a, do you call them a bush or a tree or?
Shrub.
A shrub. This one's still got a few holdouts on it.
Right.
Oh boy, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Too. Oh my gosh, this must be amazing when it's in full bloom, when this whole garden is in full bloom.
They are. People love them. And the rhododendron season really goes, I mean, the tender species start around February. And so we have rhododendrons still blooming here in August today.
Wow. All right, let's head back around in here.
Let's go see what we find.
This is kind of fun just wandering around here.
Yes, it is.
Where are we going?
Well, let's go down here past the barbecue in the meadow lawn.
What's this big tree here?
That is Portuguese laurel. It looks a lot like a rhododendron, but it's pretty large.
Is that a, I mean, oh, look what we got down here. Food.
Yes.
So this is part of your fundraising effort. You
That's
have
right.
this little barbecue going on down here.
It's a volunteer-ran barbecue. You see all the folks with the yellow shirts back here. They're all volunteers. We have about 150 volunteers here today managing this event.
And because it's a nonprofit organization, do you depend upon volunteers to keep the garden going throughout the year?
We absolutely do. We only have about 4 gardeners for the entire acreage here, and it takes a lot of volunteers to run it. We
How
really
long
do
has
depend
this
on their
thing
help.
been around?
Over 40 years. It was founded in 1961 by a retired nurseryman from Southern California.
Who just decided what?
He looked up and down the Pacific coast for something that ran from Highway 1 to the Pacific with a year-round stream running through it, and he found the perfect site here.
So he had a specific purpose in mind for this botanical garden.
He wanted to start a public garden here.
And are there any other gardens like this anywhere in California?
Well, we think we're pretty unique. Like I say, we're right on the ocean. We specialize in rhododendrons, so, and all public gardens are different, but this one, you know, this is really my favorite. It's a jewel. I've been in other public gardens before, and there's nothing like it anywhere.
But it's kind of, how come I've never heard of it before?
It's small. We're a little isolated up here on the coast. It's a great getaway. A small community.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. You can just feel the peace and tranquility and wonder out here in this part of the garden. Wow, this is beautiful.
It's a great escape. Yeah, when people need a little respite from the hectic pace of everyday life, this is a great place to come. Look at these large leaf, these big leaf rhodies here, big leaf rhododendrons. They have fairly large leaves here, but in the wild, those leaves will get up to 3.5 feet long.
Now, when you say in the wild, you mean in the wild in California?
Where they come from, these are mostly from Southeast Asia and the Himalayas.
And yet they acclimate to this climate very easily.
They do. Many of them are from lower elevations in those areas.
Now, if we'd been here earlier, would we have seen big blooms on these?
Yes.
On these particular plants?
Big trusses of yellow blossoms.
Wow, this is just great. So you really are, rhododendrons are your thing here.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry we missed that, but I think there's
plenty of wonderful things today.
They're coming through the gate. Don't let it close. There we go. This is the...
These are deer fence gates. We actually have the upper end of the gardens fenced to keep deer out so they don't munch on all the delectable little plants out there.
I got you. Yeah, those deer are cute, but the gardeners don't like them too much.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is just beautiful.
I love this. We've got this great stand of pines here dating to the last fire that came back. It's even aged. It came in about the 1930s. They're semi-fire dependent, the bishop pines, and we have these giant rhododendrons towering over us. You should see this when they're in full flower. It is amazing.
Now, what are these trees down here?
These are all bishop pines up above us.
So are these coastal pines? These are found on the coast?
These are our native coastal bishop pines.
Wow, and this just goes all the way to the ocean. How much further down, how far are we from the ocean?
We're about a quarter mile from the ocean at this point.
Uh-huh. Oh, look, you got a little bridge down here.
We do. We just put this in. This was actually built by our volunteers. They did an amazing job with it. This is part of our salmon restoration program. This is a stream that has steelhead and California red-legged frogs in it.
Oh, look at this stream. Oh, this is beautiful here. Have you seen anything in the water?
Money.
It's a wishing well. It's a natural wishing well down there. Oh boy, this is absolutely beautiful. And it just keeps on going. This is almost like a hiking experience, a nature experience, not just a botanical garden experience.
That's right. That's one of the great things about this garden. It does have a lot of the property devoted to natural areas, so we can interpret everything we can garden with here, but all the native flora as well.
Well, that's important these days because people, which way do we go?
Let's go this way.
People are going more and more back to the natives, to the natural flora and fauna that's here instead of all the imported stuff.
That's right, absolutely. A lot of times it's easier to grow, less pest problems, less need for irrigation, but then you get these special things you can do with other plants that you bring in.
This is not natural right here. I know this is natural.
Well, I wish I could pull that one over on you, but it's not.
Boy, look at this right out in the middle of the forest. Oh my gosh, now what is this?
This is our Dahlia garden, and it's very popular with visitors. Actually, we have a lot of weddings here. I got married here a couple of years ago.
Wow. Dahlias. I'm not really a flower person, so I don't know for sure the history of dahlias or how they play into the whole California experience, but I know this is as beautiful a display of color as I've ever seen.
They've been hybridized, bred for these colors and for an incredibly large flower size.
Look at the size of this flower right here. Oh my gosh. And what's interesting here is that right across the path from these beautiful dahlias is this, which is beautiful in its own way, but definitely not in the same way as the dahlias. So what's going on over here?
Well, you've got a very discerning eye here. This is a natural area. This is part of a restoration project that we have going on. A small seasonal stream going through here. We've got native alders and sword ferns and things like that going in here.
So this someday will be another area of the Botanic Gardens that people will be able to walk through, but you're going to keep it in kind of a natural way.
Exactly. About half the property is devoted to natural areas, and we have a number of restoration projects going on.
We've come upon some local yokels here.
Local yokels.
So tell us about this garden and how special it is here.
It's a very special place.
Well, it's very special.
And it's great.
It's
it
a great
entices
place.
the tourists and so forth here, and it's great. It's beautiful. Every time of the year that we come, it's beautiful.
But as far as the locals go, do you ever get tired of coming out here?
Never.
No way.
And
Never.
when the children were young, this is the place to let them run. You bring them, and,
yeah, right.
and the reward is a picnic lunch on the beach house. So you have to go the whole way.
Yeah. They even have weddings out there, you know.
Are you going all the way to the beach?
If she leads us, I think that's where they're
that
going.
way.
Look at what you're carrying here. You got wine and cheese and bread.
And I'm
what
not
more?
sure what else is in the bottom.
Well,
But
have
we'll
fun.
have to eat it all to find out.
Because this is a special day here, isn't it?
It is
Oh,
a special
weather-wise,
day.
this is
And the weather is
perfect.
fantastic.
Yeah, we've had a perfect summer, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we have had.
But don't tell
Yeah.
the tourists this.
Don't tell everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
There they go. Now, right out here in the middle of the forest is this. I know we're welcome because there's the sign right there. Tell us where we are right now.
We are in the volunteer-ran vegetable garden.
The vegetable garden. Now, what's this all? What's a vegetable garden doing out here?
Well, we have vegetables, herbs, and cut flowers, and the volunteers just love doing this. All the excess produce goes to the food bank. They don't do any sprays, so kids from the city who've never even seen these things grow can actually come and pick strawberries and eat them right off the plant here.
What are these?
This is an unusual variety of kale.
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 Bring me up to speed here. I'm feeling pretty dumb right now.
It's a green like kale and collards and, you know, all those good greens for...
All right, good, okay. And then out over here, you've got, I guess, a little bit of everything going out here.
Might have some water coming too. We do.
This is all volunteer.
All volunteer managed. Absolutely. They come out here every Tuesday and Saturday, and they do a great job in this garden. They love it. We have a dedicated crew.
Now, every little thing up here Rick gets excited about, because I would have walked right by this, as beautiful as it is, but you said we had to stop just because of the beauty of this little shed out here.
We have this great old tool shed here with this wonderful herb garden in front of it, and I just love it. It's things like this that really make the garden. Look at the old tools and things hanging on here.
Yeah, it really is an all-encompassing. Now, television sometimes gets it, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But let's just swing around here and look at this view with the colors and the trees and the flowers and the people and the feeling that this place has.
This is a very peaceful spot. People love it here. We have a lot of folks come out to the vegetable garden for picnics.
See, I like this. Just an open meadow like this with these little wildflowers growing here.
It's great. It's beautiful. A little open space after you've come out of the forest.
Now, are we almost, I can feel a cooler breeze coming.
The ocean's right on the other side of the shore pines there. All right, we're going through the shore pines now, looking out through the coastal prairie to the ocean, and it's still like a lake today.
Wow. Well, let's talk about these shore pines. Are they literally shore pines?
They are. They absolutely are. And they are kind of the first line that breaks the wind from the ocean. You'll see nothing out here but shore pines and the wax myrtles here.
And then we get into this grassy area.
It's coastal prairie. Originally it was all native grasses and wildflowers, and this is another one of our restoration projects. We've got a lot of invasive exotic grasses out here, but what we're trying to do is restore this to the natural native vegetation of the site.
Wow. This is just, uh-oh, houses.
Well, we don't have a completely protected view shed, I'll have to say that.
Yeah, but what's nice is that you do have, how much space do you have out here on the coast?
We've got quite a bit. I would have to go to the map and add it up, but I'd say several hundred yards.
Of totally protected forever.
That's right.
All right, now if we stand right about here, you can't see the houses at all.
Right.
You just see this wonderful open space right here. We've made it to the water.
There you go.
And a beautiful journey it was, and just passing through this open area here, there are little wildflowers and things growing all around here all the way up to the coast.
Little native coastal wildflowers all over the bluffs here.
Wow, so it's an experience all the way from Highway 1 out to this. This is the quintessential Northern California coastal view.
It's beautiful. You can't beat it. You know, I say let other gardens try to install a landscape like this. It can't be done.
Well, I got to tell you, thank you so much for the tour on this, your busiest day of the year, taking the time out to show us around.
You're welcome. More than happy to have you.
This place, the Mendocino
Coast Botanical
Gardens, has been here for over 40 years.
That's right.
It's open to the public all year round.
It is.
Depending upon what time of the year you come, there's a different experience.
You will see something in flower every day of the year. I can guarantee that.
It's always a great experience to visit this. This is a real gem. Thank goodness that this land is preserved forever.
Yes, absolutely.
For all of us to see the wonder and the beauty and this juxtaposition you have between your planted gardens and the natural scape that's here.
That's what makes it special.
This is a very special place. This place here in Mendocino County, right here on California's Golden Coast. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure on California's Golden Coast. And if you'd like to go on this adventure again, share it with family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library, well, it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.
California's Golden Coast is underwritten by the David and Lucille Packard Foundation, who also support the good works done by the following organization.
Years of making oceans matter. The Ocean Conservancy.